Welcome to today's deep dive. When you watch a movie about inner city life, it usually has the single, really gritty filter.
Right, everything looks just totally bleak and washed out.
Exactly. But our mission today is diving into the lyrics of Trevor Russak's song Life in the Hood. And reading those lyrics is honestly like watching a split-screen movie.
Yeah, on one side, it's just suffocating. You are basically trapped in this cycle of extreme hardship.
But then on the other side of the screen, the colors are completely cranked up. I mean, it's this vibrant broadcast of amazing food, pounding music, and just this really intense community life.
And that stark contrast is really what makes Russak's writing so compelling for us to look at. To understand this environment, we first have to examine that daily friction between feeling trapped and, well, hunting for joy.
Because the narrator definitely starts in the dark, right? He has no car, he's feeling incredibly low, and he's literally staring at the sky wishing for a plane ride out of the pain.
Yeah, just to escape the complacency. But then, almost in the same breath, he pivots.
Right, we get hit with these awesome neighborhood perks,
Yeah.
like LA burritos, dope hip-hop beats, pretty street-smart girls, and just having a lot of homies.
It's a huge shift in tone.
It really is. And I kind of struggle with this part. Why focus so heavily on food and hip-hop when you're surrounded by such a painful working-class environment? I mean, is this just a coping mechanism?
Well, from the outside, it might seem like he's romanticizing things, but psychologically, it's a pure survival mechanism. Focusing on the bright side gives the brain an anchor.
So it keeps the despair away.
Exactly. Things like being grateful for the OGs, those older original neighborhood guys who mentor the youth. If you only stare at the reality of the trap, you lose your mind entirely.
But that desperate need for connection feels like a double-edged sword. Because when kids are neglected at home, that search for a surrogate family doesn't just lead to block parties.
No, it often leads them straight into the arms of gangs.
Yeah.
And the danger attached to that is terrifyingly random.
Right. Russak shares this tragic anecdote about a good guy neighbor kid. He wasn't the thief. He wasn't in a gang at all.
He just went outside, met the wrong people, and was killed.
Which is just horrific. So here's where it gets really interesting for me. Russak warns, do not be fake or you'll never be protected.
Yeah, it's a very strict neighborhood code.
It sounds like this intense, high-stakes social contract. You essentially can't break character or you lose your entire safety net, right?
That tightrope is very real. Taking the OG's advice and showing universal respect aren't just polite suggestions. They are literal armor against random drive-bys.
Because if you break the code, the consequences are immediate.
Exactly. Russak mentions getting your car clucked or repoed. And getting clucked doesn't mean the bank takes it. It means your car is stolen and stripped by the very people you offended.
Or worse, obviously, you lose your life. Navigating that constant life or death tension every time you walk outside is heavy. How do you not just collapse?
Well, Russak's answer is actually pretty surprising. It's sheer absurdity.
Yeah, he delivers this hilarious, highly specific warning about not walking around in a Speedo, even if you're proud of your body as a Guido.
Which is just such a wild image.
Right, and why? Because a gangbanger might beat you up just so he doesn't vomit on his comic-cleaned carpet.
The visual of a violent thug worrying about a freshly scrubbed rug is incredibly jarring, especially right after a discussion about murder.
So his advice is to stay inside, play Sonic, drink a gin and tonic, and use Hooked on Phonics. I mean, what does this all mean? The humor acts as a psychological pressure valve.
That's exactly it. When you're surrounded by a massive threat you can't control, your brain has to shrink it to survive.
So it's like using comedy to deflate the terrifying reality of the thugs outside.
Yes, by turning a terrifying gang member into a punchline about a clean carpet, Russak takes his power back. And that connects directly to his ultimate message of hope.
Because he survived.
He did. Despite being a self-described dopey and wino for years, he made it out. He promises that rough times are not permanent.
Which brings this all back to you listening. You might not face these extreme street rules or drive-bys, obviously.
But everyone navigates environments with unspoken codes. Workplaces, families, social circles.
Exactly. Places where resilience, respect, and a bit of humor are required just to survive the day.
Russak points out that inner-city kids just want to fly and be blissfully free from their environment.
Which leaves us with this thought. If our surroundings shape our survival strategy so rigidly, what invisible walls have you built to survive your own daily life?
It's a heavy question.
It is. And what would it look like for you to finally take off that weight and just fly above them?